Okay, so I decided to do something. Robert and I actually did, and we said, "What the hell do people want to hear me talking about Netflix and YouTube right now?" When I've got Mark Gastineau and Joanne Gastineau with us now, and I figured, you know what, we're going to need 3 segments. Actually, I probably need about 3 hours to talk with Mark Gastineau, and we bring both of them on with us now here on Sports Grid. Mark, Joanne, how are you guys?
Go ahead.
We're good, Dan. How are you?
Dan, great.
Hang in
great.
there.
I want to
Awesome.
let my wife be first. You never know.
All right.
Hey,
We're awesome.
All right, Mark. Hey, Mark, do you ever look at it that you're the creator of the sack dance? You're the original guy. And how come nobody ever brings your name up when we talk about it? The things we see in today's NFL. Mark, you were getting so much heat about it when you were doing it early in your career. Don't you think that you're like the guy who created the sack dance?
Dan, after the things I've been through, that is the last. You know what, Dan? Nothing surprises me. Nothing. I mean, I could have torn down goalposts and then threw them out of the stadium, and nobody would have said, and it would have been a great thing. Everybody would have said, "Oh man, look at that, he's strong. Oh, look at how he's throwing that goalpost over the stadium," and they would have said nothing. And anyway, a dance, yeah, I did it in high school. I did it. I got so excited, Dan. Dan, I know that you get excited on your show. You get so excited, Dan.
Hey, well, Mark,
really, what?
I want to show you something, folks, what he gave me. And Joanne sent this to me as well. And I got all the things that they've sent me. This is a coin from the NFL Alumni Association. And it says on the back of it, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. He was numerous times All-Pro. Mark, before we get into the 30 for 30 and all of this, how come you're not, in your opinion, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Because you didn't vote for me. I'm kidding.
If I had a vote, I would.
Thank you. Dan, those things like, I stopped, I fretted and fretted and fretted and thought. And then all of a sudden, after a while, you just like say, hey, it's not going to happen. And I don't, if I was saying right now that I was going to make it in the Hall of Fame, I would say no.
Yeah, but Mark, why?
I don't know. I don't know why.
Mark,
I don't know why, Dan. I don't know why.
Okay, how about this?
That's my answer, Dan. I'm sorry to cut you off. That's my answer. I don't know why.
Okay, lesser resumes have made it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame than what you have as a resume. Klecko gets in. Joe's a great player. But in my opinion, you're a better football player. There were other guys like Jason Taylor that made it to the Hall of Fame. Those guys don't have anything on you. Do you think it was the relationship that the New York media had, or some had, not all, but some had with you, that has affected you not being in Canton?
They say that the Hall of Fame on the outside, the things that happen on the outside, really affects the things of the Hall of Fame. I was a wild man, but on and off the field, and but I had my stats. I had basically what that you and I've talked about, and you know more about my stats. I got audience. Dan the man knows more about me than I know about myself, and he does. He does. I did not know about Reggie White and a sack every game.
Yeah. That's
what
right.
is that?
Mark, listen, no, you have almost as many sacks, counting your postseason too. You're the only guy, you and Reggie
said
White
I
are
had a
the
sack
only guy.
every game.
Yeah, every game you've ever played in that you started, you have as many sacks. You have a sack for every game that you started. And only one other guy's done that, and that's Reggie White. All right, Mark, we're going to take a time out here for a second. Then we're going to talk about your book, The 30 for 30, and we're going to talk about your relationship, that what happened in that 30 for 30 with Brett Favre. We're going to do that next with the legendary Mark Gastineau next here on Sports. It's clearly an honor to get Mark Gastineau on here because I'll tell you, he's clearly one of the more compelling guys that we've ever had on our program, and we enjoyed this conversation we're having with him here. And Mark, I'll ask you flat out here, the 30 for 30, chronicling the New York Sack Exchange with ESPN. I'll let you fill it in. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Did you think it gave you a fair representation of what it was like to play with that legendary D-line?
You know, the 30 for 30, my wife's going to get in here and she's going to speak, a lot because she watched the whole filming. Dan, she watched everything. And this wife, I've been with, how long we've been, 18 years. And she has helped me more, Dan, than anybody. I don't drink anymore. I've changed my whole life. So she watched everything that went on. The judge did kick it out, right, Dan? Did you?
Yep.
You read that? Yeah,
I did.
Okay,
right.
so I got to get this straight.
You had a lawsuit against the
filming
of it, and the judge has dropped the case here. But go ahead, Mark, please. I wanted to give everyone the idea what it was.
Okay, that's what I'm saying about more about me than I know about myself. But anyway, no, I do know about that. Okay, and my wife knows more. But anyway, here it is. They kicked it out, but we're appealing it now. Okay, we are appealing it. We're going to the higher courts, and my wife will talk to you about that. Okay.
Joanne, why are you continuing to go forward with the conversation of you're going forward because you did not believe that the judge was fair? Why are you continuing your lawsuit?
Why don't you get in there?
Do I need to come into the camera?
Yeah. Yes.
The judge
please.
is inaccurate. The judge is inaccurate. Okay. A Chicago sports show, November of 2023. Brett Favre was there, and everything I'm saying, if there's any way you can contact Brett Favre, he will also agree that it was a setup and it was terrible. It was against them. It was all used for publicity. So we go to a Chicago sports show, sign autographs, meet and greet, the whole thing. Brett Favre is there. Mark and Brett Favre are speaking behind a curtain. It's a private moment between two players. They shook hands. It was, if anything, it was just kind of funny. He hadn't seen Brett Favre in 20 years, so it was like, hey, you got my sack.
Yeah, you got my sack.
That was funny.
I said, you know what? I'm going to hurt you. He said, and I
Right.
said, and he said, you're going to hurt me. And I said, I wasn't going after him. But anyway, I'm telling you that on national TV. So
and they're shaking hands. I have it all. I have everything, as far as photos and all that. Okay, that's November of 2023. A year later, all of a sudden, now we're approached for ESPN, not even, it was NFL Films that approached to do an awesome family inspirational story about the New York Sack Exchange. How, when they played, maybe they didn't get along, but where their lives are now. And I think they just got caught up on publicity and a hit piece. So now as they're approaching to promote the show for 30 for 30, out of nowhere, I'm getting TikTok videos with the Brett Favre, which is showed all edited out. I think the proper word is context. It's not showed properly.
Context.
My stomach dropped, and our family in Arizona and family and friends all over, literally all over the country, are calling us up and saying, is somebody against you? And what are you talking about? And they're showing me this video. That video, this is where the lawsuit comes in, because the video was not approved. It was a private moment. The judge said, if you read it, that Mark signed an agreement. Mark did not sign an agreement. We've got proof. It'll be told. If you hurt our family and you've hurt us, you took my husband and you made a mockery out of him.
On my sack, on every sack I've ever got, that is the truth right there. I did not sign anything.
They made a mockery of my husband, which affected us. It's been stress. It's been anxiety. It's affecting our livelihood. It's affecting appearances. My husband did not sign an agreement, and that can be proven. And that is why I'm going, hold on. So when the judge threw it out, if you read it, the judge says Mark signed an agreement, and that's why it got dismissed. That case can be appealed, and what will happen, it'll go to another judge. We'll keep going, because you cannot ruin a family like this when they promised that this would be something he'd be proud of for his legacy. Shame on them.
How about this, Joanne? Do you guys agree with this then? That what your case is, Mark, Joanne, you think that this was something that hurt your potential earnings on
here it is.
autograph signings and stuff like this, because they portrayed you in a bad way. This is why you guys have a problem with it, because it was something that was not told to you prior to the filming of the 30 for 30.
Correct.
Then you took it out of my mouth. See, I can't even talk.
Correct. And then
took it out of my mouth.
The 30 for 30 part, that I have to see if this, I would go before a jury and explain to them that and the reason I'm speaking was because my husband really wasn't involved in this part. He's filming. He's filming. The producer of the NFL films and the director, I saw such negativity that I literally stopped. When they were filming, I said, stop. You're bringing up old news. You're making this negative. It's not a positive story. My husband did not agree to go onto a show to have negativity. When I met him 20 years ago, he told me, I'm going to keep a low profile. I'm tired of all the negative stuff. I want to keep a low profile for 15 years. And you know what? We love the Lord. He's changed his life. He's just a regular guy. So why is it after all these years, he's going to go on a show that shows him in a negative light? It affects us. They have him hitting the table. I'm not in the Hall of Fame. Marty Lyons, he's always been nice and respectful. And he's on that show saying nasty things about my husband. Like, I don't know where they decided to go off on this show. And they did it for publicity. They did it for ratings. And that Brett Favre video went viral. They're making money and they're hurting a family at their expense. Shame on them.
Okay, listen, we're going to continue. Hang on, we're going to continue. We're going to continue. We got another segment here coming up. Okay. So we'll continue that. We'll talk about the book as well. We'll talk about what's next. Go ahead, Mark.
Can I say one thing? All right.
30 seconds.
Dan, last night, we went and we had to go out to the island all the way out. How long was it? 5 hours. 5 hours one way, 5 hours another way to get something that we normally would have gotten a lot more. We didn't get anything comparable to what we would have gotten.
Let me. Okay, I got to hold you here. We got to hold you over. We got another segment coming up. Okay, right. And so we'll continue this conversation here because. Again, you're right. I mean, Joanne, I thought that was an absolute hit piece, that 30 for 30 New York Stock Exchange on Mark Gastineau. I really did. Mm-hmm. We'll continue more of our conversation here with the Gastineaus. We'll do that next. And keep it right here, folks, on SportsGrid. Our compelling conversation here with legendary Jet Mark Gastineau and Joanne Gastineau here about 30 for 30. We got a book we're going to talk about here in a second. Mark, you wanted to make a comment about something. Please go ahead, man.
Yes, I did, Dan. That went viral, and everybody I knew, Dan.
30 for 30.
Said 30 for 30. 30 for 30, nerdy for nerdy. I mean, it was horrible, man. And they would say, hey, I watched that. Dan. And they played it over and over and over. And I wanted to know, and I want to ask you, and I want to ask all the people out there, Dan will probably know, how much do they make over and over and over and over? How much money do they make off a hit piece like that?
That was one of the most watched 30 for 30s in the entire catalog that they have, and they have put out there. So I would assume millions and millions of dollars that they have made. And Joanne, I'll ask you this: Do you think ESPN has defamed Mark Gastineau's name with that 30 for 30 New York Stock Exchange story?
Absolutely. It's that. Why we have no reason to file a lawsuit. I'm not one to file a lawsuit.
We never filed anything.
A couple days before the show aired, and that video came out with Brett Favre. Literally, there was one night where I was on the phone with my sister-in-law, Mark's sister Kelly. We were crying at like 1 in the morning because she just kept showing me all this negative. Oh, Mark Gastineau, look at who would let him do a video. He's got this. Pitiful. I was crying, and I actually contacted the producer at midnight, and they responded. When a producer responds back at midnight and is trying to say this is not what we've done, this is not what we wanted to do, they know they did wrong. They ruined.
How about this, Mark? Mark, what's your relationship right now with Brett Favre?
My relationship with Brett Favre, I promise you, would probably go on your show. Okay, I don't know if you have him on.
I do know.
Okay, so have him on and say, what does he think about what they did to me?
Brett Favre.
I promise you.
I would say quickly, and you can look it all up. Put it on Twitter X, and wrote positive things about my husband and said he feels this is a setup, and he was taken back by it too, and he believes he was set up. You can look it up, you can call him, you will find out, because he will absolutely agree.
Okay, so let me ask you relationship with the rest of the New York Stock Exchange. Abdul Salaam no longer, unfortunately, is with us. It's Joe Klecko and it's Marty Lyons. Mark, your relationship with the remaining Stock Exchange members.
You know what? I want to talk about Abdul, my best friend. He was my best friend. Now I'm going to cry. And I was his pallbearer. Debbie is his wife. She, and my wife are close friends. And so we talk all the time. We write, letters. We write, birthday cards and stuff like that to her. And she still cries. She still cries. But he told me what everybody, was going to do in the locker room. And he told me exactly how they liked me. He told me how they didn't like me. And he told me what was going to happen to me. He told me everything in that locker room that was about the team. And some was good, some was bad. I'm not going to say, And right now, with Joe and Marty, we don't even, I talked to Joe, Joe and I get along. Marty has not contacted me. I haven't contacted Marty. Ever since the she can tell it better than me, but ever since she took the picture, ever since my wife took a picture of Marty. Now Marty was like really angry, you know, at the 30 for 30, and then when he said, "What did he do?" When he said something about Brett, we said, "I can't believe that he did that to Brett Favre." Now wait a minute. Hold up, Dan. He can't believe I did that to Brett Favre. This is the only thing I'm going to say in a negative kind of light. He can't believe I did that to Brett Favre. Brett Favre was on another team. He's a quarterback. You're supposed to kill him. Why
not? No. Hey, listen. All right. What's your relationship with the Jets?
Okay, the Jets. Oh, man. My wife. You know, the Jets are so dark. They're dark, you know? And it's just gone. They're gone south. They've gone south. You know, it's hard.
With you.
You know, to tell. Huh?
With
oh, no.
Okay.
No. With the team. With
okay.
Everything that's happened to them. They've just
so you think the Jets are in a bad place right now?
Oh no, they're winning. They're great. Dan, come on. You know that. Dan, what do you think? You think they're in a good place?
No, I do not. Real quick here, Mark. Let's do this.
Okay.
Talk about your book
sorry,
here. Leaving. No, I love it. Leaving the 99 for the 1. Mark Gastineau story. What would you want people to know about the book that you just put out here? What would you want folks? Real quick, 20 seconds here. What would you want people to know?
Number 1, okay, in the Bible it says he left the flock to go for the one. You know, the one sheep. Because you know what? The Lord did not want, okay,
Mark, I gotta roll, man. I love you, folks. Do me a favor. Get the book. This is my friend. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Final thoughts next on Sports. All right, you know, I felt like I was being rude there because Mark was talking here and I cut him off just so I could have a stupid take here. So let me finish up the show here with these two, Joanne Gastineau and Mark Gastineau. Mark, again, do me a favor. Finish up with the book here and what you want the book and what you want people to know about the book. Again, leaving the 99 for the 1, the Mark Gastineau story. Tell what you want people to know about the Mark Gastineau story.
Okay, that was the most important part. And Dan, I'm sorry. But anyway, my wife is going to, you know, leaving the 99. He left 99 sheep to go for the 1. Go ahead.
Well, he just said it. When we came up with the title, leaving the 99 for the 1. In the Bible, it says that Jesus would leave the 99 to get the 1 loss. We're all lost, but his number is also number 99. The book took us over 4 to 5 years, and it's all from his heart. This is a man that speaks about mistakes in his life, and he admits to them, and it's written. This is not like a book about a tell-all. It's about a man, what he's gone through. He speaks about his daughter. He speaks about Marcus, his son, and it's from his heart. And anybody that has read it just cannot believe that he would just reach down into his heart and tell a story like this.
Okay, Joanne, I'm going to ask you an important question.
Sure.
Before you met Mark, did you know about that Mark Gastineau? And what, again, have you seen the growth from that Mark Gastineau where the nation knows that Mark Gastineau on maybe what they don't know about this Mark Gastineau and this version of Mark Gastineau? Mm-hmm. What's the difference?
First of all, I did not know who Mark Gastineau was.
You didn't know my name.
Everybody was like, Mark Gastineau, you don't know who he is. I met him at New Jersey Beach. So I didn't know who he was, and we were speaking. I'm not going to get into the whole long story, but what I was more intrigued is he was a professional athlete. Not that he was on a Jets, but to be a professional athlete, you have to have a gift from God. So now we meet, we get married. But in reference to what you're saying is, Mark would tell me about Times Square Church in Manhattan. It's non-denominational. Everybody's invited. And he kept telling me about this church. So we started going to the church. Now, no one would believe that Mark's the one that brought me to church. I went as a little girl and I believed in God, but all I heard about was Times Square Church. I walked in, the choir was phenomenal, and it was just simple. It was so simple. The pastors would take something out of the Bible, they would explain it. It was simple. I loved it, and I got saved from that.
And then what happened?
As time went on, they were doing a men's Christmas. Now, we're talking about Times Square Church in New York City. Mark Gastineau coming home from church one night. They were talking about a men's
don't fall off your chair.
This is good. A men's Christmas choir. Doesn't matter if you could sing. It's just the pastor had this vision. As we're driving home, Mark says, "I'm joining the choir for Christmas." And you know what? I know. He did. He joins the choir. Months later, him and I joined. Now, it's not like we have singing voices. They interview you and see what your heart is for the Lord. That's because they can get beautiful, God-gifted singing voices anywhere.
Yeah, they're right on Broadway.
So we were in the choir, okay? You tell me that, and who would notice about Mark Gastineau? We were in the choir together for 9 years. There are fans out there that we would meet later on, and one of them said, I was ready.
Jason Schrock.
Wait, hold on. I was ready to commit suicide. And we didn't know this. And he walked into the church. He was a big fan of Mark and the Jets. He saw Mark in the choir, and he said, if Mark's there, there's got to be something to this. Didn't take his life. Another fan, and we find out these stories later, and this isn't us. This is the Lord's doing. Another fan, his wife now, but it was his girlfriend and fiance. Got to go to church. He's a big Mark Gastineau fan. When he was a child, his nickname was 99. So he goes to church, not that he really wanted to, and he sees Mark Gastineau in the choir. And you know what? It changed his life. So this is the Lord's doing.
Wait a minute. He is the largest he's the largest hedge funder in New York.
Now, since I didn't follow like my husband's career or know about football, when I see pictures of this man that sometimes look angry playing, that's not the Mark that I know. That's not the Mark that I see. He's a different person.
All right, guys. I appreciate you doing this, and I've had a lot of fun here knowing where you guys are. And I do think the ESPN piece was a hit piece on you. God bless both of you. I'll be in touch with both of you in a little bit. Thank you so much. We got to roll. Thank you, guys. And we shall see you Sunday. We'll see you on the flip side.
I love you, Dan. Tell your wife I said hi.